It's time for the Voices of Treatment and Recovery show on KWAM The Voice. Now, here's your host, Vincent Lewis.
Hello, hello, hello. This is Vincent Lewis. Welcome to another edition of the Voices of Treatment and Recovery show. We're here in Memphis, Tennessee on another lovely sunny Sunday afternoon. Oh, Sunday morning. Getting my times mixed up. Had a beautiful graduation yesterday. I'm going to say congratulations to my son, Malcolm King Lewis, for graduating from high school on his way to Mississippi State University. Congratulations, Malcolm. Hey, everyone, today we are continuing our mission of helping individuals recover from the disease of addiction one show at a time. And today, in keeping with that mission, I have a great friend on the show by the name of Larry Smith. Now, Larry and I, we go back, Larry, I guess about 20-something years. So today's a little different. Larry's not in the treatment business. We're old friends. It's going to be a very, very laid-back, casual conversation. But I know Larry to have some great recovery, man, and he's been around about 22 years in recovery. He hails out a little town called Cleveland, Mississippi. A very special place down there in the Mississippi Delta. Hello to all our Cleveland, Mississippi listeners, man. We love Cleveland. Larry, I don't know if you know this, man. Time Magazine, a little while back, named Cleveland, Mississippi as one of the top 10 cities to live in, little towns, small towns to live in America. Yeah, man. Some very special people down there in Cleveland, Mississippi, the home of Delta State University. So a lot of roots down there. We really appreciate them. So today, Larry, you know, we're going to keep our tradition here. We have a song we feature. I featured this artist before. His name is Richie Super. He is a former member of Aerosmith. He's in recovery, a lot of great recovery. I had the pleasure of meeting Richie some years ago. And Richie, if you happen to be listening, or any of the Recovery Unplugged folk down in Florida, you know, we've been trying to get you on the show, Richie. So if you're listening, you know, we'd love to have you on the show sometime. But we're going to feature his music today. And the first song we have from him is called The Last House on the Block.
Well, I picked up some bad habits, and they kept me running hard. I went against my better judgment. I even turned my back on God. On the streets I met my demons, and they dragged me down the drain with another shot of something just to get me past the pain. Yeah, the door is always open when the devil needs a fix, so you burn another 50 you ain't got. You drift into the darkness till your dreams have all been crushed. You're in so deep, there's no way you can stop. Welcome, yeah, welcome to the last house on the block. He put another nail in his coffin, some roach-infested room where he thought he found the answers with a needle and a spoon. Yeah, the door is always open when the devil needs a fix, so you shove another 50 through the slot. You drift into the darkness till your dreams have all been crushed. In a junkie's world, that's all you really got. Welcome, last house on the block. And it's hell disguised as heaven, where the angels fear to go. It's a place all too familiar, where I sold out my soul. And that's how I know the door is always open when the devil needs a fix. So you burn another 50 you ain't got, and you drift into the darkness till your dreams have all been crushed. You're in so deep, there's no way you can stop. Welcome. Yeah, welcome to the last house on the block.
All right, all right, all right. You're on the Voices of Treatment and Recovery show. That was Richie Super, Last House on the Block. I'm here with Mr. Larry Smith, a friend of mine of 20-some plus years. Had some great recovery. We're just going to have a conversation today, Larry. Welcome to the show, by the way, Larry.
Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, man. That song, man, Last House on the Block. You know, everyone that has recovered from addiction in any kind of way has had their proverbial last house on the block. What was yours? What was that last? What was the thing? Where were you at? What was going on with you? We won't go too deep into that, but man, talk to me a little bit about that last house, brother.
You know what, man? I when he was singing it, I was thinking about my last time.
Yeah.
Being in a graveyard, sitting next to a tombstone, and I don't know, for some reason, man, I got a moment of clarity. And I said, man,
You were actually in a graveyard.
in a graveyard.
Now, Larry, you know I can't let you get away with that, man. You're going to have to come on with some more, with some
telling
more of that. You were sitting in a graveyard.
I had parked my car in a graveyard, sitting in my car, getting ready to do my thing. I had this girl with me, and I never forget it. I don't know if this guy was real in the graveyard, but I looked up and I seen somebody in the graveyard, and I whatever I had, I gave it to her. And I said, "That's it. I'm through.
You
I'm
done.
tired.
Wow.
I don't want to do this no more."
Wow.
And I can remember driving to the country, and I cried. Said, "I don't want to live like this no more, but I don't want to die."
Now, at this point, you had been getting high since you were, according to your bio, according to what we've talked about, since you were 16 years old.
About 16 years old.
So you started at 16. What was that like for you?
You know what? It's so amazing.
Because you're from a small town.
Yeah.
You know, to start using at 16 years old, and I know your family, you know, church folk.
Yeah. My mother.
How did this happen in your life, man?
You know what, man? I was lonely. I wanted to be a part of something.
Okay.
And man, I never felt like I fitted in anywhere.
Okay.
And for some reason or another, man, when I took my first sip of that alcohol, ooh, man, it made me feel a part of it. It gave me this warm feeling on the inside, as if
everything was right with the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gave you that confidence.
Yeah, and I went to running from there, man. And man, I that's why I understand what he talking about. The last house on the block.
Wow.
Man.
That's amazing, man. You know, I know from that last house on the block, you were about 30 years old.
Yeah.
30 years old.
Yep.
When you had your last house on the block in a graveyard.
Oh yeah.
What was that process for you after you said, "Hey, this is it for me"? Because when a lot of the families that are listening, a lot of individuals that are listening, may be currently at that last house on the block. They may be there at that point right now. What did you do next?
Well, you know what? After I went to the country and I cried out, I finally went home and talked to my dad, and I said, "You know, hey man, I need to get honest with you today, man. I've been using drugs." And I don't know, my daddy gave me such a look. And I said to him, I said, "Listen, man, I need to go to treatment." And he said, "Man, I'll tell your sister to take you." I said, "No, if you don't take me, I'm not going."
Mm-hmm.
And I seen, for the first time, I think in 30 years, I seen my daddy cry.
Mm-hmm.
Tears came down the eye, and he said, well, man, I tell you what, I'll take off and I'll take you.
Mm-hmm.
That was I think one of the hardest things I've done in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Because for the first time in my life, man, I was getting honest with me.
Okay.
I was tired, man. I didn't know what to do, but I knew I needed help, and I knew if my daddy didn't go with me,
Mm-hmm.
man, I wasn't going. Because I had walked up there to this counselor office many times. When I started coming down, I would turn around and say, I'm going to be all right. I tried.
Yeah.
I would try it again the next time, but
Right.
I think that was the best thing that ever could have happened to me.
Okay. Well, thank
Wow.
God, man. Thank God. Hey, so honesty. I heard you say honesty.
Yeah.
That's the principle behind step one,
Yeah.
right? For the listeners who haven't been exposed to a 12-step program, I mean, if you've been listening to this show, we talk about self-help groups, 12 steps, and treatment and that kind of thing to help you recover from the disease of addiction. But we want to go a little deeper today. You're not a treatment professional, so we're not talking about treatment centers and that kind of thing. Your way into recovery, your pathway into recovery, was a 12-step way. Okay, tell us a little bit about that journey beginning. Once you got out of treatment, had that over with. What did that look like for you?
That's a very good question. Now, I tell you what, when I got out of treatment, excuse me, it looked mighty good. I don't know what happened. There's a guy that talks about this deal. He says he had a new pair of glasses, and I can remember getting out of treatment, and it seemed like everything was much brighter.
You could see things differently.
Yeah, it was much brighter. It seemed like I could see, excuse me, a light at the end of that tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, man.
Does it remain bright, though? I want to stop you right there. Does it remain bright? Because I know, you and I both know, that period of euphoria, after you get out of treatment, right? And everything looks sunny, it goes away at some point.
Yes, because life shows up. See, in treatment, I was closed in. But when I got out, and then I had to face reality. And I can remember getting out, and they told me I was going down to Jackson to a halfway house. And, man, I got there, and them folks told me, I'm so sorry. But we ain't got no more money. I was like, what?
No more money.
Now I had to sit here and face everything that I had done in that community. But I can remember looking up, and I said, I told you the day I'm going to trust you. And for some reason or another,
you talked to God.
Yes, I got all right, and I was all right with it. And I've been running ever since.
Okay.
I've had my ups and downs, but through it all, it ain't worth going back to what I come out of.
Tell me this. I know you because I was there when you came in. So I know you to be someone who was very religious, very, all about church, all about God. And you had some challenges with that initially, right? So how was that struggle for you initially?
That was
not that there's anything wrong with that, but to the hardcore 12-step community, when you come with a religious background and you try to preach religion in the rooms, that can be a problem, can it?
Yeah, that is a great problem. Because we deal with mostly spirituality in the room. So when I came in with religion, I came in with my Bible. And they frowned upon that.
I was one of them.
I remember them telling me, sit down, shut up, you don't know what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? But it was. I think they helped me a lot to realize that wasn't the place for that right then and there.
Right.
I needed to get sober first. Then we'll deal with that.
Okay.
Because I was doing it backwards, and that's what I've been learning since I've been sober.
And help us understand that. Why is it necessary to get sober before religion?
Because if I don't get sober first before religion, then I'm going to confuse this thing, and I'll run backwards just like I've been doing all my life, thinking I got the answer or thinking that I know. So by getting sober first, it clears my mind up. And it gives me a different awareness of where I'm at and what I'm supposed to be doing today.
So you can think clearly about your understanding of God, right?
Yeah.
Now, there are a lot of folk, though, Larry, as we know, that never go to a 12-step meeting. never show up. They go to church and get sober. How is that possible then?
Well, now this is my belief. My belief is I needed to go to the 12-step program.
Okay.
Some people can get it in church. Some people can get it through relationships. I don't know. But I could only talk about me.
Okay.
I could only get it through going to meetings. Because I needed to be around some people that were just like me. Some people that I didn't think were judging me or looking at me differently. But some people that understood when I stumped my toe and wanted to drink, they understood that. They didn't laugh at me or tear me down.
They didn't call you a sinner and tell you to,
they just said, come on, Larry.
Go say so many Hail Marys and, you'll be all right.
About your
So it was necessary
for me.
For you to be around other people like you that understood you.
Yeah.
That's very, very important. Hey, man, we're here on the Voices of Treatment and Recovery show. I'm with Larry Smith, a great friend of mine who's in recovery, who's sharing his experience, his strength, and his hope with us today. I want you to stay tuned. We're going to take a commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Sometimes life can knock you down, hit you like a diesel truck. And part of learning how to fall is getting right back up. Looking back.
Is there something missing from your spiritual life? Do you wonder what good the churches are doing when there is so much addiction, homelessness, and general despair all around? Visit Get Recovered Ministries Christian Church at 4271 South 3rd Street in Westwood, Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. They're a non-traditional Christian church looking for non-traditional Christians who want a chance to praise God and do His work without all the pomp and circumstance of traditional churches. GRMCC is a church built on the concept of growing your mind, body, and spirit through praising God, studying His Word, and doing His works. GRMCC offers addiction counseling and outreach, plus so much more, but they need your spirit and ideas. This Sunday morning at 10 a.m., bring your spirit, your praise, and your will to do God's work to Get Recovered Ministries Christian Church at 4271 South 3rd Street, pastored by Reverend Harold Bates Sr. and evangelist Phyllis Bates.
Heartland Cottages provides community living support homes that are affordable, cozy, and in a secure environment. Their homes offer a smaller, more family-oriented setting for seniors and others that need a little extra assistance and don't want to live alone. Heartland Cottages also has traditional home settings located in beautiful and safe neighborhoods. They offer comfortable private or semi-private rooms, home-cooked meals daily, housekeeping and laundry service, medication reminders, social programs and activities, and transportation to doctors and appointments. For more details, contact Heartland Cottages today, 901-623-9940. That's 901-623-9940. Or visit heartlandcottages.com. That's heartlandcottages.com.
Located in the heart of historic Midtown Memphis, the Oaks at La Paloma, accredited and licensed to treat addiction, co-occurring disorders, and primary mental health issues. They know that treatment needs vary from person to person, so at the Oaks at La Paloma, they have created evidence-based, individualized plans for each patient, and this provides a program that is just right for them. The Oaks at La Paloma has proven methods resulting in healthy rates of long-term recovery. Patients can continue their journey with the Oaks at La Paloma by stepping down to outpatient treatment at their sister facility, Foundations Memphis. With a compassionate staff, delicious food, a multi-use sports court, and an on-site recording studio, the Oaks at La Paloma empowers individuals to reach their recovery potential. Please call 1-833-250-HEAL to speak with an admissions coordinator about how they can help you. That's 1-833-250-HEAL.
You've been listening to the Voices of Treatment and Recovery with your host, Vincent Lewis.
To the last house on the block.
All right. Welcome back to the Voices of Treatment and Recovery show. My name is Vincent Lewis, and I'm your host. I'm here with my friend, Larry Smith. We've been talking a little bit about church versus recovering in church versus, say, going to a 12-step meeting. And some people go to church. A great many people go to church and change their lives without, getting caught up, and I guess in the whole religious aspect of it, right? But it's still necessary. It is still necessary to have people around you who understand and care about you, isn't it?
Yes. For me, it is because a lot of times, matter of fact, I have family members that's very religious, and I can say certain things around them. They look at me like I'm crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But I go over here and talk to these folks, and they understand what I'm talking about. I think a lot of times, even my mother, I love her with all my heart, but she don't understand a lot of times when I say I can't handle it.
Right.
She's looking at me like, "But you can't." No,
why can't you handle it?
Because
right?
I know I can't, because I'm not going to put myself into those situations anymore where I'm trying to control something. I do what y'all want.
Now, even though we're going to touch on a little something here that a lot of people avoid, this idea of God in the 12-step program and God, say, at your church. For the Christian, it's the same God. But, in the 12-step rooms, you kind of have a choice, right, as to who you consider God to be. Was that ever a problem for you?
You know what? No, because being raised up in the church, I already had that fundamental idea of this God. But I never had a relationship with this God, and that's what the 12 step have given me, and a relationship versus of knowing this God. Because in the church, I've always heard. It was fun. I heard this. I've always heard about God, but I never knew him.
You never knew him.
Never knew him.
Wow.
And when I got into the program of this 12 step program, I began to learn about this God.
Hold up right there. So that's an amazing point you made. In the church, you never knew God.
No.
It took a 12-step meeting to help you truly get to know God.
Yep.
Talk to me about what was the difference for you. Like, how did the 12-step meetings help you to get to know God in a way that the church didn't?
Well, for me, the 12-step program helped me build a relationship. It taught me how to find that God within me versus the church telling me to look up and find this God, or look down and find this God, or go into the Bible and find this God. It never taught me about building a relationship with this God. I don't know if, from my standpoint, I don't know. Maybe they weren't equipped at the time. But this 12-step program showed me how to get a connection. Right. Something I've been searching for all
how to
my
really
life.
make that connection.
Yeah.
Because I think when I think about it, every bit of the 12-step program is in the Bible.
Yeah.
We know this. I have this Life Recovery Bible here. And you guys that are listening, if you're Christian and you find some kind of conflict with the 12-step secular process, there's a great Bible called the Life Recovery Bible. It can be found in Lifeway or Barnes & Noble, but it actually has the entire 12-step program laid out in biblical terms. I mean, you can actually walk through Scripture and still work a 12-step program. I love this. But I think that what happens, Larry, my understanding is that a lot of pastors and a lot of church leaders and teachers, they don't really understand addiction. And they don't understand how to make that connection for the addict or alcoholic. And so when you go to a 12-step room, when you go to the rooms, you have people who are not only Christian that are there, but they're recovering. And so they help you make that spiritual connection. In fact, that's what the steps are for, right? It's a design for living.
Yes.
How important is it, that design? Let's talk about the design for a moment, okay? 1 through 12. It really walks you through a spiritual process to connect with God, yes. Right? Talk to us about the first 3 steps for a moment and how that looks. We're going to try to get it, and I know we could spend an entire show talking about one step, but let's try to get through them to give the listeners, those that haven't been exposed to the 12-step process that connects you with God. What does that look like? Talk to me.
Now for me, I was just sitting here thinking about when you asked that. I was thinking about in the first 3, I can't, God can, if I would allow it.
If I allow him.
And you know, through that process, it allows me to see who's in charge. It allows me to see that I need help. Irregardless of what I got or don't have, I still need help. And the only way that I can get this help is by accepting that you know what, I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay.
You know, becoming what we call teachable again.
Okay.
You know, because for a long time I was running around as if I had all the answers.
You knew everything.
I was God.
You were God.
Yes, God. I'll catch you Sunday morning, but right now, you know, and that process slowed me down, and it gave me an opportunity to see where I was off balance at.
Okay, so let's get back. That's beautiful, man. Let's get back to those 3 steps. I can't.
God can.
If
I let him.
I can't. God can if I let him. Now let's put the steps in place so people understand what that means for us. Step 1.
I'm powerless.
We're powerless over the addiction, right?
Yep.
Step 2.
Came to believe.
We came to believe that God could restore us to sanity. Step 3.
Made a decision to
We
turn
made a
our
decision
will.
to turn our will and our life over to the care of God.
We understood.
I can't. God can if I let him. Wow.
No.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful, brother. So, step 3. Made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood him. I like to say, not a God of my understanding, but my understanding of God. Because truly, for us, there's only one God, right? That decision, making that decision, what does that look like for you?
Just what it says. I'm just making a decision. I'm saying, you know what? I don't know what I'm doing.
Because you're not turning it over yet, right? We're not really turning our will over to God.
We're just making this conscious decision to say, well, you know, man, I really don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to try this.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to try this, what you all are talking about right now. Because when I look back over my life, it can't be worse than where I just came from. Because I'm the one been running my life over there. So I'm going to try this process over here.
Turned over to God.
Yeah.
So since we're only making the decision in step 3, what does that process of turning it over look like? How do we do that?
Well, there's a process of, for which we, in recovery, we call the 4th, 5th, and 6th step.
Okay.
We go in, we write down certain things, we get with somebody, we confess our faults, and we go from there. Basically, to me, and you're right, it comes from the Bible. And it's the same concept,
right,
but it's just worded differently for a suffering alcoholic. Because if you go through the book, all through the book, that's all it talks about, coming back. If you would just turn your will and your life over to me, this is what I would do for you.
Right.
You know, and so that process helps me. It helped me every time I go back to that.
So let's talk about step 4, because since we know this stuff, it's easy for us, but for the listener who may not know, we made. Well, what do we do in step 4?
You got me.
We made a searching.
Make you searching and feeling more inventory of ourselves, right? Yeah.
A searching and fearless moral inventory, right? So what does that process look like? What did it look like for you? Your first step 4.
That for me, it was a process of going on the inside of me and trying to get all this junk on the outside, so I could look at it and identify. In this program, it talks about the stock and trade. I had to look at the good stuff as well as what was off balance in me, and decide what I needed to keep and what I needed to discard.
So you had to look at the good and bad
Yeah.
of your life.
Yeah.
Take an inventory.
Yeah.
It's like when you're working at a store and you got a lot of product and you have to take inventory, right? We need to know what's on the shelves, what's in the boxes.
Yeah.
Why is it important to know what's on the inside of you, to truly understand it?
Well, if you don't know what's on the inside, how can you fix something if you don't know it's broken?
There you go.
And that's what's happening today. I had to go inside to find out what was broken there. And what I found in that process is my thinking apparatus was broke.
Yeah,
The
man.
way I thought about this God that everybody talked about. So by going on the inside, it allowed me an opportunity to see the stock in trade, to see what was really there. It was a great cleansing process for me.
Now, that cleansing process continues with step 5, right?
Yeah.
Now that we've made that inventory, right? What is it, step 5? What do we do with step 5?
You know, that's a humbling process. And I often tell people that the Catholics had it down packed. They understood what confession was good for. You know, and the admitting and accepting, the admitting, humbly admitting to, what is it?
Step 5, we admit it to God, to ourselves, and to
Another human being,
the exact natures
It
of our
helps
wrong.
us. It helped me become humble.
Right,
It taught me humility.
right.
Because for the first time in my life, I wasn't running, but I was willing to share this part of my life with somebody and not be ashamed of it.
Had to get it out,
Yeah.
out of you.
Yeah.
You know, it's been said in the rooms that we're as sick as our
Secrets.
Is our
Yes,
secrets,
sir.
man. You know, it takes someone that knows you in order to help save you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
How important was it initially for you to have people that could spot Larry when Larry was off base?
Hey, you know what? It was real good for me because I still remember that guy telling me, sit down, shut up. I don't know what I'm talking about. You know, it was good because that was the first guy that ever stood up and said, man, listen, I'm going to help you, but this is what we need to work on. See, he seen something in me that I didn't see in myself. And he began to bring a lot of stuff out. So it was very, very necessary.
Was this
to
your
be around us.
sponsor?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Explain to our listeners what a sponsor is and why it's important to have one.
Well, the sponsor is somebody that can guide you through the process. Somebody who's been down that road themselves. But the guy I had, he was a good listener, but he wasn't my judge.
Right.
He was somebody that helped me understand that I wasn't as bad as I thought I was, but I wasn't as good as I thought I was, but I was all right. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's very necessary that you have a sponsor in this deal. For me, anyway, I needed one. I needed to bounce these ideas off somebody because all my life, all I ever did was bounce these ideas off Larry.
Right.
And Larry always screwed Larry up.
Right. So when you're dealing with spiritual work, which is this is deeply intense, and I don't think people understand that sometimes, because this is how church is slightly different. When you've suffered from drug addiction, and you've been out here, man, living that drug. It's hard being a drug addict. It really is.
Oh, a lot of work.
And you've been out here living that lifestyle, and now you have to find your way back from all the guilt, all the shame, all the loss, all the deficits that this lifestyle has caused you, and then try to get some kind of relationship with God, man. You can't do that alone. You really need help going through that process. So that's why a sponsor it's critical. Because if you try to do it alone, that's what you've been doing all the time, right? Doing it on your own. So I heard someone call this idea of sharing all of that garbage like cleaning out a garbage can.
Yeah.
You know, because that's what we've been, walking around like dressed up
garbage
cans, man. You know?
Yeah.
You're here on the Voices of Treatment and Recovery show with Vincent Lewis. I'm your host, and I'm here with Larry Smith, a great friend of mine who has some great recovery. He's sharing his experience, his strength, his hope, and teaching us a little bit about these steps. And we really, really appreciate it, Larry. We're learning a lot. Hey, Larry, I have another song, man.
All right.
From Richie Super. that I'm sure you can identify with. It's called In the Rooms.
In my younger years, I let my spirit run, getting high, drinking all the time just for fun. And I don't know where or when I crossed that line, and I started dying. I was so far gone, I couldn't find myself, on the borders of insane is where I screamed for help. And I found the door that opened up my eyes, and I came alive. In the rooms where broken angels go, and love is like an army that comes to save your soul. In the rooms there's a miracle waiting there for you. When you're at the bitter end, you can learn to live again in the rooms. And God was something I didn't understand, till a stranger came